Hey everyone, my name is Dan Kolansky with Virtual Administrator, and welcome to this week's webinar. Today we're going to be talking about next generation email threats. I have Kevin from Spam Soap on the line. He's going to be talking to us a little bit about kind of the current landscape for what's out there as far as spam and virus threats, and talking about how to protect your customers against that. But before I get into that, I had two quick questions for you. We kind of like to get a pretty solid handle on who we have on the call and kind of what they're working with right now, because it helps us as we're talking through it. Kevin will be able to see the results, and I'll let you guys know kind of what comes in. The first question is really simple, and it is basically out of the options here, what email security software are you guys currently promoting for your business? So, we have Postini, Reflection, Semantic Message Flag, GFI, and we also have obviously Spam Soap. They didn't get on this list, but we're just curious to see if we have people who are not currently using Spam Soap on the line. And if you are using Spam Soap, just go ahead and click Other. So we got about 70% of you voted right now. Can we get that other 30%? Come on, guys. While we're waiting for the last 30% to make up their mind, we got. Let me just talk to you, lay down a couple ground rules. Obviously, this is GoToWebinar. I'm sure you guys have done several webinars through GoToWebinar before. Feel free to ask as many questions as you like. Kevin, as soon as he starts kicking into the actual webinar itself, will. As questions come up, if it's relevant to what he's talking about, he'll go ahead and answer your question. If it's not, or if it is and he's just kind of deciding to move on to the next content piece, then just wait patiently, and we'll get to your question at the end in the Q&A, and we'll talk about them there. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to close this out. It looks like we've got a pretty even spread across the board, except for Message Labs. Poor Message Labs, they didn't get anyone, but that's pretty good. So let me close this out, and then I have one last question for you guys. How important do you consider email security for your clients? Do you think that this is something that's really important? I mean, obviously, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to sit down and spend an hour of your day looking through this stuff with us, but kind of is this something that really you think your customers should be concerned about, or you are concerned about for your customers? We got about half of you here. All right, so we got about 75% of you saying that this is really important. About 13% of you are saying somewhat, this is, pretty important. And then there's kind of this bottom rung of people who's like, who cares? But I think that hopefully, the content that you'll see in the webinar today will kind of convince you that you need to be at least a little bit up, maybe up to mildly important at least. So we'll go ahead and cover that. All right, I'm going to close this poll. Let me tell you a little bit about Spam Soap, and then we're going to go ahead and pass the torch over to Kevin. Spam Soap is, from Network Depot's perspective, Spam Soap is one of our oldest vendor relationships. We actually started working with Spam Soap about 5 years ago, which, as you know, in the computer world is a long time. As Network Depot, we've actually turned Spam Soap into our premier spam filtering solution. So basically, within our own customer base, people who we sell to directly when we're running our own MSP, we have almost 2,000 boxes working with Spam Soap. Actually, I think it's over 2,000 at this point. It's become so core to our strategy for protecting our clients that we don't even actually ask them anymore when we're selling the service. We just kind of attach it to every new monitoring and management package that we deliver. And so, when someone comes on and they sign on with us and they buy our One Step Ahead package, then they automatically get Spam Soap. It's just part of the process. So as when Virtual Administrator started to launch back in 2007, and we were looking at, we started with offering Kaseya. Spam Soap was really a natural step. So this is why at Virtual Administrator we offer Spam Soap. It's because it's really core to a good, solid MSP monitoring and management solution. And so we try to provide that to you through Virtual Administrator. So anyway, in the rest of this webinar, Kevin's going to be sharing some of the reasons kind of why we've put so much emphasis at Network Depot onto this. And I have to admit, during the dry run of the webinar, I was absolutely enthralled with what he had to say. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass the torch over to Kevin. Kevin, take it away.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Not to set expectations too high there. I'm going to have to live up to that comment now. But appreciate you putting this together, and thanks to our attendees for spending some time with us. So hopefully it's going to be worth your while. You'll have some takeaways, get educated a bit on some of the current email threats. Just quickly, a little bit more about Spam Soap, some of our background. We were founded in 2002. We actually branched out of an Orange County, California managed service provider. So we really understand, along with VA and Network Depot, that market. It's really who we are. But in the Spam Soap business unit, we pioneered or helped to pioneer the MX Record redirect model of email filtering. There's a lot of talk these days about cloud this and cloud that. We were in the cloud in 2002, and we a few years later began to partner with MX Logic, now Mcafee, and we'll talk about that relationship a little bit and why that's a good thing for you, for your customers. And in 2010, we were awarded Mcafee SaaS Partner of the Year. So pretty proud of that, and we're going to tout that for as long as it remains relevant. But really, our focus as a provider is to develop and deliver, or to deliver best-of-breed cloud solutions with great MSP support. And we'll talk about some differentiators for us along those lines in a bit. But let's quickly look at our agenda today, what we want to do, and hopefully that'll be time well spent for you. So with the advent of social media, the question has been asked, is email dead? We're going to talk about that. Are email threats dead? And what do those next-gen email threats look like? And then what is Spam Soap doing? What do we provide related to the solution for those problems? And then what are some of the differentiators or key advantages that you get with VA through Spam Soap, or Spam Soap through VA? And so let's just jump right into it.